Greetings everyone and welcome back to the channel for another Hot Toys 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And today we're going to be taking a look at Batman as he appears in Batman Arkham Origins, the video game from way back in the day there. I think it was 2013 the video game was released. Figure itself's about a year old, but it's brand new to me, literally straight through the door and straight in front of the camera. Before we get into the usual format though, which will be as it always is for those people new to the channel, it's a quick look at the box, then it's diving down onto the table, having a look at all the accessories that come with the Batman figure, then having a look at the figure itself, getting it on the stand, onto the turntable, having an up close with the figure, and then over into the details to see how this guy displays under the lights. Before we get into all that, just like to say a huge shout out, a huge thank you to everybody who's subscribed and supported the channel. It's your subscriptions that keep us going. If you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any content that's coming up. So yeah, before we get into the box, just a quick, a brief word about this figure itself. As viewers to my channel will know, I'm not a massive collector of video game 1/6 scale figures, although I do have some in my collection. Assassin's Creed, Cyberpunk 2077, Street Fighter, things like that have crept into my collection. On the whole, my figures tend to represent TVs and movies that have influenced me over the years, had an impact on me. So not that many video game characters in there, and this kind of figure is something I would normally pass on, but very occasionally I come across a figure that I like simply for the figure itself, regardless of the source material. I think the last time that happened was the Hot Toys Hellboy 3 figure. Wasn't a huge fan of the film, but the figure itself I thought was fantastic and just had to have it in my collection. I have played the video game and did enjoy it. It didn't make a huge impression on me. It didn't change my life, but I enjoyed it a lot. But when I saw this figure and I saw how it displays, I thought I've got to have this in my collection. So yeah, that's a little bit of background on the figure itself. Let's take a look at the box, and a hefty box this is too. Very nice presentation as well. It's not particularly tall. It's the usual Hot Toys size, but it's the depth of the box, as you can see. This I would assume is down to the sheer heft of the figure and the rather nice diorama display base that it comes with. But yeah, so a heavy box, beautifully represented. On the front here we've got this representation of Batman as he appears in the video game itself, with the XE suit on, the extreme environment suit. And very nice it is too. We've got all kinds of flashes, and they've got the snow in the background. There's two textures on here. There's sort of a smooth texture in the background, and then the image of Batman himself is slightly raised and has a slightly grainier quality, which is very nice and tactile. It's a very nice feeling box. But yeah, got this wonderful image. You can see the thermal connectors within the suit, which allow him to heat up all those frozen people, as frozen by Dr. Freeze, Mr. Freeze himself, all those Gotham residents who've been frozen. Also, it's the mask there to protect him from the freezing cryo effects themselves. Yeah, just a lovely image. Looks like it's been lifted from the video game, a bit of an artistic impression, but yeah, if you spin it round, and as you can see, it just says Hot Toys at the bottom, Video Games Masterpiece DC, the usual stuff that you get with a Hot Toys figure. If you spin it round, that image is continued on the side here as well. Broken glass and sparks and snow around the back. You've got this rather sort of large orange A, and another picture of the figure itself. The usual instructions and credits on the back. Don't piss this figure off, or it'll beat you into the middle of next week and send you to Arkham Asylum for the rest of your naturals. If we spin it around again, we've got that logo is continued on the side here, and another continuation of the image from the front of the box. And it is very, very nicely presented, this box, and what it does do, and I'll open it up on camera so you can see, is that it's magnetically clamped box, and the whole thing opens up and you get this wonderful full image. I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up in its entirety because it is big, but yeah, you get that full image there, which is very, very nice. I do like that. And on the inside of the box, and we'll be very careful here because this is absolutely enormous. As you can see, the figure's still in the box. It's got a windowed front, so if you are the kind of person who displays the figures in the box, that's something that you can do. That's not my cup of tea. On the inside of the box, we've got this sort of slightly out of focus view of the Gotham skyline in the snow, and that Batman symbol, XE suit symbol, is reflected on the inside as well. So yeah, that's your box, and very nice it is too. So there you have it, the box. So without further ado, let's dive down onto the table. Let's get this guy opened up, and let's take a look at all the accessories that come with your Batman figure. Okay, so here we are. We've got all the accessories out of the box and down on the table, and let's take a look at everything that you get with your Batman figure. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of it. Well, it's deceptive actually, because a lot of this is made up by this rather wonderful diorama base, and goes some way to explain the weight of the box. But as always, we'll start with the hands, so we can clear some real estate here to take a look at this base. The hands themselves, there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 hands here, 2 open palm on the figure itself, so that's 11 hands in total. So there's a lot to go at here. It's good to see that many hands. It really does give a lot of options for posing this figure. But what kind of quality are we looking at here? So let's take a close-up look at one of these hands. So straight away, yeah, the sculpting is very, very nice. All one piece of sculpted plastic, obviously. There is some metal on the, or what's supposed to be metal on the back of the hands there. It's got some nice dry brushing on there, some airbrushing to give it that metallic look, and the paint washes there to pick out the, I'm not sure the camera's picking this up, bear with me if I'm struggling with this camera, getting used to it. Actually picking up the rivets that are in those metal, or what's supposed to be metal pieces. There are 2 different textures and 2 different colours in this glove. There's a sort of a dark grey for the main body of the glove, and then a black in between on the knuckles and the fingertips and so on, with the different textures. So the paint applications are very nice there. The thermal wires, the heating wires, are painted this sort of orange colour, which is picked up in the rest of the suit itself, and very nicely done. We'll flip it over. Once again, the palm, we've got that continuation of that black and that grey contrast, with the thermal sections in the palm of the hand and on the fingertips as well, that he uses to defrost Mr. Freeze's frozen victims in the game. Yep, sculpting very, very nice, textures good, paintwork excellent. Really what we've come to expect from Hot Toys as far as hands go, and pretty screen accurate as far as I can tell. So that's an open palm hand. Same story with the rest of these hands. There's a fisted hand here, the same quality of sculpt and paint applications. This rather amusing hand here, which is designed for Batman to hold to his temples, so he's got 2 fingers to his temples, I'm assuming, for when he's communicating with Alfred in the game. However, you could, if you so wished, have Batman giving the rods to his enemies. Most amusing, if you like me, and very childlike. But yeah, once again, it's the same high quality of sculpt and paint application. So really, there you have it. There are open palm hands, 2 of those. There are gripping hands. I'm assuming this one here is for the grapple gun that we'll come to shortly. There is also 2, I'll call them pinching hands. These are designed for the batarangs that we'll get to shortly as well. And there are 2 of those. So yeah, excellent hands, great paintwork, great sculpt, and a great variety as well. That's really good to see. We'll put these to one side to make some space here for everything else, because we are struggling with this for space with all this with this wonderful diorama base. Let's take a look at, well, we've spoken about the batarangs themselves. Let's take a look at them. You get 2, and they are both sculpted plastic. There's no metal here. Paint applications are nice. Some dry brushing, some airbrushing possibly to give it that metallic effect. You've got the contrast of the dark metal area with the edges there. These are quite sharp, so be careful with these. That's something that's worth mentioning from the get-go with this figure. There are an awful lot of sharp edges around this figure on the accessories, on the base itself. So be careful, show some, exercise a bit of extra caution if you're getting this figure and handling it, because we don't want any accidents out there. But yeah, so they are your two batarangs. We'll put those to one side. We mentioned the grapple gun, so we might as well take a look at that as well. So pretty simple, nothing too fancy here. You've got two contrasting paint applications here. It's all one, well, it's actually three pieces of sculpted plastic, but the actual grey area itself, which contrasts with the black area in the circle in the centre of the grapple gun. The grey paint itself is very, very nice. It's that dry brushing to give it that metallic effect is very, very simple. I believe this comes apart, and this is a brand new figure, so I would imagine it's going to be quite difficult to do on camera, but I'm going to have a go. Yeah, this comes apart. I'm not quite sure why it does this, because as far as I'm aware, there isn't anywhere to stow this grapple gun on the figure, but we'll okay, unusual. We'll come back to that when we get the figure out itself. So yeah, and I believe this section, the actual grapple itself, does come out of the end of the grapple gun. But yeah, once again, be careful with it. This is very sharp too. And although it is just plastic, yeah, we don't want anybody doing themselves a mischief. So yeah, that's the grapple gun. Let's take a look at the cryo drill itself. Now, this is rather nice. This is all one piece of sculpted plastic, and once again, it's got the same high quality of airbrushing, of dry brushing on there to give it this metallic quality. You can see there are contrasting colours of wash in there, of dry brushing. I don't know whether it's dry brushed or airbrushed, but you've got darker areas and lighter areas, and it gives it that worn look, that metallic feel, and you get contrast between the areas, which gives it adds to that sense of realism. There's some nice little touches as well. There's some red paint on here. There's this little warning sign here. And yeah, just all round very, very nicely sculpted. This centerpiece here, the bit, if you will, is actually separate, comes separate to the drill itself. Not quite sure why this detaches, but it is what it is. That metallic paint is continued on here. Once again, this is quite sharp, so be careful. But yeah, that slots the drill bit, shall we say, slots directly into the center there. There are three prongs around the edges of the cryo drill, and once again, very, very sharp, so be exceptionally careful with this if you're getting your hands on it. But yeah, very nice, very well sculpted, exceptionally well painted, and very effective. So we'll put that to one side. What else do you get? Well, actually, we'll bring that back in, because we're going to need that for these two pieces as well. Now, these are the this is a laser section of the cryo drill itself, and you can have this in two different formats. You can have the short or the long version. Now, if we bring this in on top of the cryo drill itself, the main body of the drill itself, there are two holes, one smaller, one larger, and you simply slot that in there like that, and that's got the same high quality of paintwork on there. There are even some sort of brass gold effect areas that have been painted on there and then washed as well to give it that texture. And also this the laser section of this actually pops out. I've got to be very, very careful with this. I'm on the second take here. The first time I did this, it flew across the room, and my language was colourful, shall we say. You've got to be really careful taking this out, because you've got to get a grip on it, and as you can see, they're quite spiky. The ends are there and sharp. So if you're wanting to, what you can do is take this out of here and put it into this extension. We'll just try and do this on camera and hope that it stays in place. And yeah, once again, this has the same high quality of paintwork and sculpting that the main body of the drill itself does. And once again, this has pegs in there, so you can simply slot it in there and get all of this in frame. If you're wanting to use this, then you can have it at full extension as well. So nice work there from Hot Toys, and some great display options as well. So we'll put that to one side. Not 100% certain. Well, there it goes. This is why this section really should be secured, I think. But yeah, that just fell out. Don't think I'll be using this in the display as nice as it is. I think having him holding this will just get in the way of viewing the figure itself. But we'll see. We'll see when we shoot over to the detolf. So we'll put that to one side. What else do you get? Obligatory hand pegs, wrist pegs rather, 2 of spares in a bag. We'll put that to one side as well. That's the other drill bit. Let's take a look at this base. Oh, before we do, instructions. Comes with a complete set of instructions. The eagle-eyed amongst you may notice that these instructions have actually been opened, and there is a reason for that. Normally, me being the male that I am, is I throw the instructions to one side, forget about them completely, and then bumble my way through ineptly. But I need to take a look at these to figure out how the heck this wonderful diorama base is constructed. So we'll keep these on hand. And I'm going to try and do this on camera, and as I say, this is the first time I've had this figure out of the box, so I may very well have to refer to the instructions. But let's have a quick look at the pieces of the diorama first before we actually put it together. It does have a party piece that you can just use this, the main body of the base itself. You can use this if you don't have that much real estate in your display, and you're wanting to use a stand but something with a smaller footprint, then props to Hot Toys. You can detach this section and just use this bit if you want to. So what do you get? Well, all one piece of sculpted plastic, and I have to say that the paint applications on here are really, really nice. The dry brushing, the airbrushing to give it that metallic quality. Not sure if the camera's picking this up, but it's along the sides as well. You've got what looks like maybe snow or ice, and just very, very nice paint applications. And then obviously this sort of rough metallic nameplate at the front there says Batman XE suit. Yeah, but the whole thing has got a very nice high quality paint job to give it that metallic look. So that's that section. You also get this chunk of clear plastic to represent ice, which actually goes on the side of the base, as you'll see shortly. Very nice it is too. This puts me in mind of the Fortress of Solitude base from the now Grail Superman piece. Very similar, but this has got a little bit more heft to it than that does. I'm not sure whether I think it's a different type of plastic that they've used here, but yeah, it's got some blue flecking in there to give it more realism. Once again, as before, though, it's got some very, very sharp points on here, so be careful with this. But yeah, so that's the ice section of the diorama display. And finally, well, not finally, let's take a look at this. This is the handrail section, and once again, that same quality of dry brushing and airbrushing that you get on the smaller base itself is continued here to give it that metallic look. There's wear on there. It doesn't look fully clean, which is nice. Your camera's picking this up here. There are sort of they're not scratches, but it's dirtied up. Well, there's scuffs on here. The metal looks imperfect. There are washes in the crevices and the cracks here to give it that depth. And yeah, and then you've got once again that same clear plastic to give the ice effect, and once again very, very sharp icicles. So be careful with this piece. So yeah, we'll put that to one side. Standard issue crotch grabber as always. This one's slightly different because I believe this one actually and I probably got this the wrong way around, but I believe this actually pegs in at the back, but we'll see that when we come. I might have to construct this off camera actually, because I don't think I've got the space. But yeah, so crotch grabber, and there is a couple of other pieces for constructing this base, and once again they are pretty much of the same high standard as before. Nicely sculpted, nice dry brushing, nice airbrushing and washes on there to give it that metallic look. So I am not feeling particularly brave, so we'll cut here and I'll construct this off camera, and what we'll do is we'll bring out the turntable, bring out the figure itself, build this diorama base and get the whole thing up and running so you can take a look at the main event himself. So without further ado, let's bring Batman out. Okay, so here he is, the main event himself, Batman from Arkham Origins, straight out of the box, straight onto the turntable, no stand, and there's a reason for that. This is a behemoth of a figure. It's absolutely huge, and quite heavy as well. It doesn't weigh quite as much as, say, a die-cast Iron Man or something like that, but it's got some real heft to it, this figure. Also, as well, we haven't got him on the diorama display base, and it was probably a good idea to do that off camera, simply because I don't think anybody wants to watch an old man spending 20 minutes trying to put some Lego together and failing abysmally. We did get it together eventually, and you will see it when we get it over into the detail for a display, but simply because I would have to be in a different county to actually film this on the display base itself and get close enough so you could see the details. So no stand at this point, but as I say, we will be seeing that when we get it over to the detail. And no revolving turntable either, unfortunately. I think the turntable has given up the ghost. It took one look at this figure and thought, no, I'm not cooperating. So we will have to manually turn this. And as I say, I've had to pull right back so you can get all of this guy into shot. But first-hand impressions are wow. They really are. I love this look. I really, really do. This armoured Batman look. This is what appealed to me about this figure. Is just this, this XE suit, this extreme environment suit, and this look I think is phenomenal. But it's personal taste, you know. Some people I know won't like it, and that's fine. That's the joy of collecting. But let's take a closer look at this guy. Where to begin? It's monstrous. It really, really is. As before, a word of warning regarding sharp edges. These the claws on the boots here. I'm going to be very careful not to knock this guy over. These edges here, the blades that come out of the gauntlets. Be very, very careful. These are exceptionally sharp as well. And I'm going to have to be really careful that this guy doesn't topple over because he's not supported at this point. But yeah, so as always, we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. We may have to, I may have to lift this guy off the turntable to get him into shot. But I think that's probably a good idea, actually. Let's start with the feet on this figure, and they are rather nice. Huge boots with these actual this plastic armor, and it's all plastic here. I'm not sure whether the camera's picking this up. You've got claws in these in the boots for ice gripping claws. These wonderful. I'll put him back on the stand here because I think you get a better view, and we'll move the camera a little bit closer in. See. We'll move in a little bit and we'll work our way up using the camera rather than trying to grapple with this big guy. Yeah, so we'll start at the bottom. These wonderful, and now what you've got essentially is a body that is covered with a black nylon outfit. What feels like nylon anyway. It's a man-made fabric, and onto that fabric stuck or painted the orange thermal wire lines, and that runs all the way through underneath, as you can see at the joints of the shoulders here and at the knees. Now then you've got these huge lumps of plastic armor which have been attached on top. There's some fantastic airbrushing and dry brushing on there. I'm not sure if the camera's picking this up. There are scuffs, there are dinks, there are scratches. You move up, you've got these knee pads, which once again are stuck to some are velcroed, I believe. Then you've got these hydraulic knee joints. I'll turn it ever so slightly so you can see these. Now these are, I believe, are metal. Yeah, they are. They're definitely metal. So you've got wonderful wear and tear that's been put on here. There are scratches, there are dinks. I believe these move. Now, yeah, they do. Now, the articulation on this figure is surprising for something of this size and sheer bulk. I was quite surprised. Obviously, there's restrictions in the legs. And we'll come to the arms as we work our way up. Let's spin this guy around and pray that he doesn't fall, and he wants to fall. can see he's going. We'll bring him round. It comes with the cape already attached. We'll take a look at the cape next, but let's just let's see if we can't detach it so you can get a closer look behind. Now I believe there are just some pegs underneath here. This will be the first time this has come off, so we'll just put that cape to one side so we can take in all the magnificence from around the back as well. Let's just bring the camera up a little bit and pull back again. So you can see the detailing on this, which is phenomenal. It really is. I'm going to have to move the camera a little bit further back. That's the issue with some of these bigger figures. They really, you need a wide angle lens for a guy this size. But yeah, as you can see round the back, that it's the same. It's the same story. You've got these wonderful sections of armor here with the same quality of paintwork and the same quality of wear and tear on them. Then on top of that nylon suit, you've got these huge pieces of plastic on the thighs. These are a hard, durable plastic, but the paint washes are nice on them. They actually do look like material. They don't look like plastic. The detailing on the back here is phenomenal. The sections in the back here, all accompanied by this wonderful dry brushing to give it that metallic look. None of this is metal, other than these knee joints, these pistons at the knee joints. Everything else is either this nylon or sculpted plastic. But that paint application really does give it that metallic look and feel. Let's bring him round to the side so you can see the detailing on these pistons here underneath the shoulders. And these shoulder pads do lift and drop, so that you can articulate the arms. I've got a lovely metallic look to them. That orange paint is continued in the detailing here on the gauntlet. These gauntlets do move. They're pretty much free flowing, so you can pose. They're not static, which is useful. I'm hanging onto his foot here because he is teetering. He's trying to fall. Getting this guy to balance is not the easiest thing in the world. Let's bring him back round to the front again. You've got this wonderful utility belt. Now this is, once again, I think this is all one piece of sculpted plastic. I'm not sure. This belt buckler actually feels like it may be metal. Now, he nearly went then. It's not the most stable of figures when it's freestanding. Now, I think, and I'm going to lift this, you've got to be very careful with this because there are so many edges and so much detailing. This guy actually twists at the waist rather than, so I'm assuming there's a waist joint underneath the suit at this point. But yeah, I'm hanging on to this guy for dear life, but we've still got foam under the arms there from where he came out. That's proof, if anything, that this is a brand new figure. Well, let's get rid of those. I don't know where the other one's gone, not to worry. But yeah, let's have a look at this chest section. This chest section is wonderful once again. And we've got that separate top chest section articulation that you see in a lot of figures like this. Not much movement there, but there is some. The same quality of paintwork there. I do love this shiny bat symbol on his chest here. Really, really nice. And this collar is fantastic. The detailing, and that paintwork, the scuffs, the dinks. And the head is all plastic as well, but the paint wash that they've used on that mask and the mouth covering really does give it a metallic effect. And there's even sort of dinks and scratches all the way up to the bat ears on top of that cowl. But yeah, both these shoulders lift off to aid articulation. Let's see what that's like in the arms. I wouldn't go overboard with this. I mean, I don't think it's going to actually allow you to go into too dynamic a pose anyway, simply because of the sheer bulk. But yeah, I would exercise caution because there are so many small parts and edges that could be damaged when posing this guy. But yeah, I'm going to shut up for a second and just let you take this thing in. I think it's wonderful, and I know it's subjective and it's personal taste, but I really, really do like this. There's something about this look that just I found really, really appealing. To see a sort of armorized, for want of a better expression, Batman like this, and the attention to detail here is phenomenal. It really, really is. We'll bring him round one more time so you can take all that in, and then we'll have a quick look at this cape. Let's bring him back round and hope that he stands, that he remains he remains vertical while we take a look at this cape. Now, this cape is, as I mentioned before, simply attaches by 2 pegs there into the back. It's wired. It's lined. It's got this sort of satiny man-made fabric, possibly nylon lining. I believe this is pleather, and I know that cape aficionados out there, and just figure aficionados, we don't like pleather. We know what happens to pleather. No matter how good a quality the pleather is, it deteriorates over time. And I know there's a whole, how can I say this, genre of cape customizers out there. I'm not a big one for custom capes. I think this one's pretty good. It's got some heft to it. It looks nice. It's wired. There are wires, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's 4, 5 wires in total, running the full length. So that really does open up the possibilities when posing. It's pretty well made. It's got some heft to it. It feels weighty. So that's your cape. We'll put that to one side and just have one last look at this figure before we get him posed up and into the detolf. And I'm loving it. I really am loving this figure. But yeah, so there you have it. That's Batman Arkham Origins. So we'll do as we always do. We'll bring out that diorama base. We'll get him posed up. We'll see how easy or difficult it is to get him into a pose. We'll put that cape back on him, and we'll get him over into the detolf and under the detolf lights and see how this guy displays. But judging by what I'm seeing right now, I think we're in for a treat. So without further ado, it's over to the detolf. Okay, so here we are over at the detolf with Batman, Arkham Origins Batman. We've got him into a pose. We've got him on that rather spectacular base. So how does he display under the detolf lights? Well, I have to say, I mean, normally I'd talk about shelf presence at this point, but that pretty much speaks for itself. This is an imposing figure. I think that's an understatement on my part. It really is. But let's have a close-up look. Let's have a wander around him and see how this guy displays. Let's start with that rather wonderful base. I really do like this base. It grounds the figure, it places it in the game, it gives it context, but it also adds just to the overall feel of the figure. I am a huge fan of diorama bases, as the viewers of my channel will know, and I think this is Hot Toys doing what they do best as far as dioramas go. Very good. If a little finicky to put together, but that's a minor issue. But let's take a look at the figure itself, and everything from that armor, the weathering on that armor, the dry brushing, the paint, the metal pistons on the knees, that wonderful sort of nylon undersuit with the great orange paint job of the wires on there, the weathering, the scratching, the sheer bulk of this figure as well. The armor is really well done, and what did surprise me when I was actually putting him into the detolf was just how posable this figure actually is. Just how I mean, I was going to say that the articulation is good, but I would say it's good for a figure like this, for a figure that is fully armored or partially armored even, and of this bulk. You're going to expect to be encountering some restrictions when trying to pose him, and they are there. The legs are not the easiest thing in the world to get into position, and I would say as well, exercise some caution with this base because of those gaps in the base and because of those plastic claws on his boots. They can get caught in there and they could get easily broken, so be careful if you're going for any kind of dynamic posing with it. But yeah, you'd expect the articulation to be limited, and it is, but the upper body is actually quite surprising. The amount of articulation in there, I was pleasantly surprised about. There were a few niggles. I would say be very careful when posing or swapping out the hands. There are so many small pieces, so many sharp pieces that could easily break, or you could easily knock off. One of his elbow pads dropped off as soon as I moved his arm. That was more down to the quality of the glue used for the Velcro rather than anything else. But These are small gripes. I really do like this figure. Let's get in, zoom in close and take a closer look at this wonderful armor that Hot Toys have produced here. Down to the weathering, the scratching, the paint work to make it look metallic. Phenomenal, really good work here by Hot Toys. So really, that's it for this review. Oh yeah, one other word of caution as well. That wired cape. Now it is pleather, and there are a couple of when you're attaching it at the back, and I'm not sure whether I'll be able to get up close enough or into the detail to actually show you this, but no, I'm struggling a little bit here. But when it clips on the back there are two plastic pieces which are part of this neck armor here, and they do stick out, and if you're going for a dynamic pose using the wiring of the cape, be careful not to snag it, because they are quite sharp and you could quite easily rip this cape. But yeah, there you have it. That is Hot Toys Batman from Arkham Origins. And I suppose all it remains for me to say is thank you for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more content coming up. What have we got coming up? Oh, in the not too distant future, we've got Hot Toys Dead Strange. That'll be coming in soon. Mars Toys Mr. W to continue the Batman theme. We're going to be taking a look at something of a slightly different scale. That'll be the Bandai Godzilla -1. What else? X06, Admiral Picard from Season 3 of Picard. That's coming in soon. Plenty more retro reviews coming up. So yeah, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. And I suppose all that remains for me to say is it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Batman, from Arkham Origins. Take care of yourselves and happy collecting.